This is it, guys. We want to introduce you today. We don't know how this happened other than we can attribute it to God himself, because he is writing the story of our lives, and it's just amazing to be a part of it. Okay, so you're probably wondering where we are right now and where we've been for the past 2 months. We took a 2-month break. We just got back from vacation and we decided, you know what, we're gonna take a break to reevaluate where we're at, where we wanna be in the future, and what the vision is for Goshen and for our family. In the midst of all of those decisions and trying to figure out what we want to do, we had an amazing God story take place. We got invited to help pioneer, build, establish, whatever you want to call it, manage this 40 acres right here that you see behind me. We are going to be turning this into a sustainable community that farms, gardens, does life together. Amazing, guys. We don't know how this happened other than we can attribute it to God himself, because he is writing the story of our lives, and it's just amazing to be a part of it. But this is it, guys. We want to introduce you today to this sustainable community. Doesn't look like much, but in a year's time, this place is going to be transformed into an absolute beautiful community. Homes, tiny homes, gardens, orchards, vineyards, an event center, all sorts of crazy stuff we have happening. Want to just briefly touch on the vision and give you guys a look at this beautiful 40 acres. Right now, all it is agriculture land. It's all soybeans from as far as the eye can see, a little bit of a wooded lot back here. So obviously this is a huge jump from our homestead, which is just down the road. And we are gonna be taking you guys along for this journey. It's gonna be wild, wacky, crazy, amazing, ups and downs, the highs, the lows, whatever it is, guys, we're gonna be taking you along. And it is gonna be an amazing, amazing journey. So let's take a look at this property and I'm gonna show you what's happening here. Okay, this is it. This is the 40 acres. We're gonna take you up in the air here and give you a little bit better view of what's going on here. At the bottom of the screen, that is gonna be your north side of the property. That is a main road. And then on the left side of the screen, that is a wood line. That's gonna be our east side of the property. And on that east side of the property is potentially going to be some lots. That is where people are going to live, build their homes, all that good stuff. One of the great things about this property is that it crests in the center about 60 feet higher than the rest of the property around it. As you guys might have known watching some of our previous videos, our current homestead is very unlevel. We're at the bottom in a valley, really. And this property is pretty much flat everywhere you go, which, if you know anything about cultivating land, is a huge help in the long run. One of the other great things about this land is that it is clear cut for the most part, and some people might not like that. Some people might like to build inside of a wooded lot, but when you're building some kind of huge community like we have planned for this 40 acres, you're not having to tear down a ton of trees, and at the end of the day, you can start fresh with the entire piece of land. Another great thing about this property is that it is surrounded by government land. It can be farmed, but it can never be built on, which is great because the views surrounding the property will always be farmland, which is a big bonus. So like I said before, there is going to be a lot going on this 40 acres. Mainly surrounding the idea of sustainable living. So a homesteading community, an agri-hood, whatever you want to call it. A lot of people are calling these things agri-hoods instead of buying a home on a golf course. People are buying homes that are surrounded by agriculture, that have farmers growing food. You can buy that produce. Kind of the same idea here with this property. That's one of the reasons I titled the video the way that I did, because I think what's happening in our nation is that ultimately people, of course, want to know where their food comes from, but they want to be connected with their food at some level. And so there's a lot of these agri-hood or homesteading communities popping up all around the nation. And one thing that we're going to be doing here on this channel is we're going to be going through and finding those communities and actually traveling out to them and documenting what they're doing there. What's the good things they're doing? What have they learned in the process of doing what they've been doing? And showing you guys a real look at what's happening across the nation. People want to know where their food comes from. They want to be part of a community. One thing we've learned homesteading the past many years that we've homesteaded is that homesteading is awesome. It's a beautiful way to live, but at the end of the day, doing it in community with other people is 10,000 times better than doing it alone. And I think that's a key that people are missing in homesteading, is when you do it in community with other people, you find more value, and ultimately you're sharing the burden of homesteading together. Imagine it. You've just finished harvest. Everybody's been out harvesting the food. You come down to sit at the dinner table with other like-minded people, and you're enjoying that meal together. Amazing. It sounds amazing, right? What if you could be a part of a community like that? And that's part of the vision here. But to get there, we have a lot of work ahead of us. And it starts today. And honestly, we're extremely excited. We've waited for this moment for many, many years. In 2015, we had a vision to buy 200 acres and cultivate it, turn it into a sustainable community, taking care of children in crisis. And here we are, 7 years later, almost to the month. We don't know what this journey is going to look like, what's in store for us, and what's going to come in the future. But one thing I can say is that only God can write these stories. And if He's in it, we're just tagging along for the ride. I hope you guys will join us for this next leg of our journey. It's going to be wild, but it's surely going to be worth it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next video.